Welcome to the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast. I'm Joanne Pearce, a female entrepreneur, small business coach, and a creative business owner on a mission to help and inspire other women out there who want to make a decent living doing something they love. If you have your own small business, or maybe you've been thinking about starting one but not sure where to start, then this podcast is for you. I share everything I know about starting a creative business from my own experience of running my handmade stationery company, Vintage Twee. It's as honest and as down to earth as me, and it's an eclectic mix of sound business advice, northern humour, and real life, because it's not easy, is it? This podcast celebrates the selflessness, the strength, and resilience of women, because we possess a superpower so great that we can handle whatever life throws at us and come out the other side. We are survivors, we are warriors, and we are as determined as hell to succeed. Hello and welcome to the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast. Thank you for giving me your time today and listening to this episode. I really hope you enjoy it, and I think you're going to, because today we're talking social media. Love it or hate it, it's in our lives and it ain't going anywhere for the time being, at least. So it's a bit like one of those annoying habits, isn't it, that your partner or your spouse have. Like, you've got to learn to live with them if you want to stay married. And it's the same with social media for small businesses. We have to tolerate it, even if you're not a fan. You know, your business won't exist in today's world without it, unfortunately. But if I had £1 for every time someone said to me, oh, it's the algorithm's fault and I'm not being seen, I'd be retired now, honestly. I'd be in my villa in the Caribbean, watching the sunset every night and recording my podcast from the beach. The truth is, the algorithm isn't the problem. Yes, it's annoying in that it only shows people what it thinks they want to see rather than what they actually want to see. And most of the time, you're lucky if more than, say, 1% of your followers even catch sight of your posts thanks to these really annoying algorithms. But the real problem isn't them, it's us. Hear me out, I'm not on their side by any means whatsoever. In fact, the total opposite is true. So don't think I'm saying that the algorithms are right and they're working for us, because they're not. But it's like anything or anyone, more like, who we don't particularly like or don't get along with or we find annoying. Like, they aren't going to change. That's just who they are. They're not going to wake up one day and go, oh, I've decided from now on that I'm going to totally change and I'm not going to irritate Joanne anymore, even though I don't know her. I'm going to do everything that she loves and I'm just going to be the complete opposite of myself. Like, no, it's not going to happen. I wish it would for some people. But anyway, we have to accept that that is just the way they are. And we've got to learn to change the way that we respond to them. And the same goes for our attitude towards social media. Like, we're never going to be able to control those algorithms, and we will die trying if we spend all of our time just trying to jump through all the hoops to keep them happy. So why am I saying the problem is us? Okay, why are we as small business owners guilty of blaming the algorithms when our work isn't seen or acknowledged, or we don't get any sales or interest or new followers when we post about our most amazing creations or services? Well, I'll tell you exactly why it's our fault right here today on this podcast episode. And not just that, but by the end of this episode, you will stop blaming the algorithm and you'll start fixing what's actually causing the problems and holding you back. And in addition to that, I'm going to plan your social media posts for you for a whole week. Yep, I'm going to plan the whole thing. So I'm going to give you a social media strategy so you have a week's worth of content that is going to drive some engagement and get your accounts growing. So social media, it's something that can feel really, really frustrating for handmade business owners and all business owners, really. But it's like, we've got enough to do, okay? We're making everything, we're packing it, we're wrapping it, we're shipping it, we're doing the admin, we're creating bloody content for various social media channels. It's exhausting. I remember the days of rocking up to work when I was a youth worker, right? And I'd spend at least half an hour in the kitchen, first of all, every morning, making a brew, having a little flirt with one of the guys from the office next door. Then I might nip to the loos, redo my hair, touch up my makeup, stop for a chat in the corridor with Mary the cleaner. She was always around, see how her weekend went, Then I'd log on, be about probably 10 o'clock at this time. I'd check my emails maybe once quickly, glance over them, make another brew, then I'd come back, have a wheelbarrow contest across the office with my 5 workmates, something that we always like to do, go on an early lunch. I'd pick the kids up from school who I used to work with that are on my project. I'd take them to do some community gardening project, or we'd play a game of bingo in a local residential home. I'd be done by 4:30. I'd be home, my feet up, watching Deal or No Deal. Like, it was just bloody easy compared to now. But Facebook, it'd only just come out at that time. And I remember us all signing up to it one day in our office. And it was purely then just for connecting with old schoolmates and past boyfriends and girlfriends. And that was it. But now it's a business. And you've got to remember that. So it's not there to help show all the people who follow your account your beautiful creations, right? Unless, of course, you're a paying customer and you've got a decent budget. Like, it's not interested in making money for you. It wants to make money from you. And that's what the algorithms are for. They're working to keep people on their platform for as long as possible. So unless you're getting decent engagement, it's going to throw you to the side of the curb, and it's probably going to reverse back over you again, let's be honest. So we have to stop blaming these algorithms, okay? They are bigger than we will ever be, and they won't ever change. They're never going to accommodate our needs as a small business owner. So what do we do about it? How do we get our stuff seen on there? The only way you're going to get your posts and therefore your business noticed is by getting a decent amount of engagement. Likes, comments, saves, DMs, etc. These are the things that tell the algorithm that your stuff is worth seeing, and then it'll push it out to more people. It's that simple. And the algorithm, it's not responsible for how interesting or boring your posts are. You are. They're not to blame if your message is unclear, or your photography is shit, or your caption isn't well written. Like, you are. And the only way for the algorithm to see you, to truly see you, is by creating interesting, exciting, appealing content that is going to get clicks. I'll give you an example from one of my most recent posts where I shared a horrifying story of something that happened to my family in us last weekend. If you follow me on social media, you'll probably know about this already, but basically my husband nearly choked to death, right? So it was just an average Friday night. I was in bed just scrolling on my phone while he was in the bathroom. I was looking up Christmas presents for my daughter or something to do with Christmas. I was scrolling and I just heard him coughing. I thought, it's a little cough, it's fine. And then still going on about 30 seconds later, he was coughing a bit more. And I thought, God, what's he doing? And then it kind of got like more and more intense. So I thought, well, better get up. Like, I was in a bit of a mood and I thought, God, you're going to wake up, Eden. So I get out of bed and then he sort of like meets me in the hallway, stumbling out the bathroom, absolutely purple in the face, grasping his neck, like couldn't get his words out, couldn't tell me what had happened. He was just looking at me with these eyes, like silently begging me to help him. So I grabbed him, pulled him into the bedroom. He fell onto his knees. It was absolutely awful. I did the Heimlich maneuver. I didn't even know what was stuck at this point. I called 999. I talked to the ambulance service, who I can't remember much about the conversation, but they helped me get his breathing under control, short, sharp breaths. And eventually his colour came back and he started to breathe again. It was absolutely horrific, I can't tell you. It's one of the worst things that's happened to me. I thought that was it. He's fine now, thankfully. Back to annoying me again. So it's all good. But I posted this story on social media, on my Instagram account, and on my LinkedIn one as well. And honestly, I got the most likes and comments and messages that I'd ever gotten from anything I've ever posted. Like from followers and people that I didn't even know. I hadn't seen them before, didn't know they existed. And the more that I got and responded to, the more they kept coming. Because Instagram was happy with me and LinkedIn was happy with me. I was keeping people on their platform for longer than usual, and they were using it to interact with me. So it kind of like set off an alarm with the algorithms to say, oh, this is an interesting post, show it to more people. And it just kept gaining momentum for a few days. Like my husband got all smug and he was like, oh, well, your most popular post was about me. You're welcome. I mean, it was. But honestly, I think it was more to do with the fact that he choked on a blob of toothpaste than who it actually was. Could have been anyone. But anyway, it's total proof that the social media algorithms, they prioritize engaging content. It rewards you when you hit the spot. So it's absolutely no good sitting there blaming the algorithms. They don't hate you. They just don't love mediocrity. Social media is a tool. It's not a magic wand. And if your content isn't connecting, it's actually not the platform's fault, annoyingly. So let's compare it, for example, to a picky eater. Okay, you've got a toddler, right? You've got to keep feeding it interesting, colourful things to keep it happy. You serve it plain rice, it's going to spit it out. It's too bland and it's not going to satisfy anyone. It's the same thing with your social media posts. So let's look now at the most common mistakes that we make as entrepreneurs when it comes to poor social media performance. And this applies to me too, because I've had some right belly flops when it comes to trying out different content, like proper, embarrassingly poor responses to things that I've posted out. A top three, let's just go over those. Top three worst posts are number one, explaining some confusing social media terms I thought people would find helpful. Turns out they didn't. Number two, I posted a motivating quote I put out there, which motivated a grand total of 2 people. And three, a post I did to announce that I was doing a video tutorial on Facebook ads. Like, yawn. Even I'm bored just talking about them. In comparison, because you're going to want to know this, my top 3 best posts to date are number one, my husband's near-death experience, as already said. That's probably, the top one. Number two, a photo of me and my sister who was going through chemotherapy at the time, and it really resonated with a lot of women. And I got a lot of questions and comments and just lovely messages from people. So that was really nice. And number three, one about me and my awful genetic defect that I've got that's taken away my breasts and is now after my ovaries as well. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, the personal posts outdid the work related ones because they were interesting. And people are nosy, let's face it. But they struck a chord with my audience and it compelled them to interact with me. And I think that's how you've got to think. So before you post anything, think to yourself, will my audience feel compelled by this? Like, is it enough to catch their eye and keep their attention long enough for a comment or a like or a message or a save? Is it interesting to them? Or is it just interesting to me? I mean, obviously, we can't be posting about near-death experiences and chemo and mastectomies all the time because, well, that's just a bit depressing and strange. But we can and we must make an effort to include personal posts because they're going to connect you with your audience. And it will also lead them to take a closer look at what you do. So actually, that is the first mistake that people make, posting boring content that doesn't tell a story. It doesn't engage the audience, you know? Other examples alongside my top 3 shockers that I've already mentioned are posting too many product shots with no personality. Right? The truth is, your followers don't care about your product until they care about you. The second mistake a lot of people make when it comes to their social media strategy is inconsistent posting. Now, I'm not saying post every day because sometimes, and most of the time, it's just not feasible, especially if you don't do your business full time. But posting once a month isn't going to cut it either. Okay, that's like ghosting your followers. They just forget about you, they'll just forget you exist. So you have to look at what's realistic for you. Maybe it's 2 to 3 times a week, I don't know. And you have to make those posts absolute bangers, as my husband would say. Another main mistake people make is ignoring engagement. So it's called posting and ghosting. I love that. It's great. It's not enough just to hit publish. So you need to spend time replying to comments, sending a thank you message to someone who's just followed you, like really being part of the community. You'll actually notice if you interact with someone on your social media account, that could be a like or a comment, or maybe you save their post. Instagram is going to keep showing you their stuff. All right. They will appear in a lot of your feed, at the top of your stories. You'll see them a lot. And you won't see anyone that you don't interact with. So if you want to get on other people's feeds, you've got to put yourself in front of them. And we're going to go into this next, along with looking at what other things actually work when it comes to your social media strategy. But, don't be that person who posts and ghosts. You want to be setting off those triggers that tell Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever that you aren't that kind of person. You won't leave their users hanging if they take the time to comment. Even if they're not your ideal match and you'd rather sell your stuff to the devil, like, just acknowledge them. I get it all the time in my stationery business. People commenting on my stuff who I know are just spying on me or who I don't really like, who are just being nosy. But I'll always reply, even if it's just like a random thumbs up, if you're really adamant about communicating with them. It all counts. Okay, just take the time to interact because it all goes for you. Right, so we've looked at some of the mistakes that we make when it comes to our social media strategy, or lack of. But what actually works? How can we fix these mistakes so that we can see our followers engage more and actually see our accounts grow? Well, first of all, we have to be realistic. It's more of a tortoise and the hare situation. So slow and steady wins the race. It's like weight loss. It's pretty slow for me at the moment. I'm not going to lie. But it's Christmas around the corner. What's the point? Anyway, focus on quality engagement, right? Try not to focus on the numbers so much. We're just so obsessed, aren't we, with how many followers we have, as if it's a determinant of how successful we are. I'm always bloody doing it. I'm terrible for it. I really do annoy myself sometimes. So my daughter watches these really annoying YouTube channels with these families that are like mega stars, just started off as the average Joe and now they are like multi-millionaires just from making YouTube videos about their lives or whatever. And the first thing I always do when she discovers a new YouTube channel with another new annoying family is, first of all, I Google how much they're worth, and then get really annoyed about that. And then secondly, I check how many followers they've got on Instagram. Like it tells me how successful they are or something. But I need to stop doing it. Like, I'm not a YouTube sensation, and most of us small businesses aren't either. What's more valuable to us is a small, engaged audience that interacts with us and are genuinely interested in what we do, rather than a big, disinterested one who, they're just numbers. A follower who comments on every single post is much more valuable than 10, 100, whatever silent followers. Like, we've got to get over our own egos here and understand that our success isn't defined by the number of followers we have on social media. All right. Instead, you need to direct that energy into satisfying the people who are interested in what you do because they've chosen to follow you. Ask them to recommend your account to one friend. Write entertaining posts about your husband, your kids, your dog, whatever. Tell them you're dealing with menopausal brain fog, or share your story, your wins, your losses. Don't be afraid to let them in because they need to know and to love you before anything else. And once you connect and start gaining traction on your posts, you'll reach a lot more people than you did before. Honestly, the post I put out about some boob biscuits that my friend made for me from my plastic surgeon a few weeks ago went down a storm. Well, so did the biscuits, to be fair. I went to see him the other week and he said he absolutely loved them. Thankfully, didn't think I was a total weirdo giving him those as a gift. In fact, I even made it onto his Instagram page. I had a little look. He puts all his best gifts on there. Yes, I made it. So, secondly, you've got to show up consistently. Now, this doesn't mean that, like I said, you have to post every single day because it's just not possible. But you're better off saying, right, my posting days are going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm going to post at the time that my audience is most active. Usually for me, it's around 6 to 8 p.m. at night. You can find out yourself. You can look at your insights if you have enough followers on Instagram or Facebook. It lets you have a look at when they're around. But generally, between 6 and 8 p.m. is always quite good in the evenings. So maybe stick to the same time. And then people know when to expect to hear from you as well. And that's really important. You can experiment with the best time, try different things, see what works for your audience, depending on who they are. But honestly, you don't need to post every single day. So my other business, Vintage Twee, the stationery business, at the moment I've only been posting about once a week because I just simply haven't had the time. But I do make sure to show up like once a week, maybe on a Monday. I think it's on a Monday I've been doing it. I mean, I don't honestly know how much the time that you post matters because if it's an interesting enough post, it's going to gain traction from just getting engagement. For example, on my Vintage Twee account, I'm told the best time to post is 6 p.m. But honestly, at that time, I'm either doing tea or I'm doing the bath or I'm watching The Grinch at the minute for like the millionth bloody time. So I just put a post out about one of my new products yesterday at midday, 12 p.m. because I've having my lunch, I sat there, thought, I'll just do it now while I'm here because I wanted to get it done and I want to try and respond to people who maybe wanted to order before I picked Eden up. Anyway, I probably got more engagement than any I've posted at 6 p.m. on that one post that I put out at midday because people saw it and they wanted what I had. They liked it and they commented, and so it gained momentum. And Facebook thought, oh, this must be interesting to our users. Let's push it out more. So I was getting messages through the evening up until 11 o'clock last night, and then, excuse me, and then again this morning. That's just how it works. Facebook or Instagram, wherever, it will do that if it thinks that you're going to get people using their platform. And it's really that simple. So be consistent, stick to a time and a day, and keep doing it. Doesn't matter if it's only twice a week, as long as you keep it the same. I'm actually going to try something that I learned from an interview with Stephen Bartlett, the guy who's got the Diary of a CEO podcast, if you've listened to it. I mean, he's like ridiculously successful. And he said this, and I'm going to actually try this, and you should try it too. And he said that on the days that you choose to post, say you do a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday, on those days, as you're going about your business and your life, you should write down one thing that happens to you, right? Put it on your phone in the notes app or write it in a notebook or whatever. But write it down. And then he said, try and describe it in 280 characters or less and just post it out there. Same time, every day, whether it's a story, a post, just put it out there. That way, you're consistently showing up with some interesting personal content that is gonna interest people. They like to see it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see what happens. But I think you should too, and see if you notice a difference in any of your engagement and interactions. And this leads me on to the next thing which you can do to help your social media strategy. Okay, you have to tell your story. Now, I'm not talking about posting a picture of your morning coffee and a pastry. Like, no one cares about that, honestly. I'm talking real stuff. I'm talking the good, the bad, the ugly. It might be related to work, it might not. I mean, you need a good balance of personal to professional posts as well. But in regards to all of your posts, before you put anything on there, ask yourself this one simple question. Is it going to A, make someone laugh, B, make someone cry, or C, surprise or provoke them? And if it does neither of these things, scrap it. It's okay to post about your products, right? But tell a story when you do. So, for example, did you discover knits in your kids' hair when you were getting them to try out the new hair accessories you just launched? Yes, I found knits in my kids' hair this weekend. Another drama for another podcast. It happened. It freaked me out. And if they say knits can't jump, but I'm telling you, they can, because this knit bloody jumped out of her hair onto the coffee table. Absolutely scared the shit out of me. But it happens, right? So, did you end up in A&E because you nearly chopped your finger off using your new guillotine? Did the dog eat your bespoke order that you were working on? Whatever it is, whatever you're posting about, make it interesting. I'm going to challenge you to think of something happy, sad, or shocking that's happened to you today or yesterday, and find a way to relate it to your work. It's telling a story to your audience, and honestly, it's much more than just showing behind the scene shots. Like everybody is doing that. You see it all the time, don't you? You know, look at this. This is how this is my walk to work where I have my studio. This is how I do this. I don't really care, if I'm honest. And I think we need to be doing something different. We need to be using our life experiences as the content. And if you do that, you're never going to run out of things to say. Let's be honest. There's stuff happening to us all the time that's funny, that's sad, you know, that's surprising. Use it and share it, and it'll help boost your profile and ultimately your business. As long as you can engage your audience, you're going to get rewarded by these damn algorithms, right? And you're going to get pushed out for more and more people to see. So try and turn the purpose of your social media page on its head. Don't see it as a platform to purely promote your business. Instead, see it as a platform to be yourself, as a person behind the business. Put yourself before your products and watch your account grow. I'm going to set you some challenges now to get you going, okay? So grab a pen. I said at the beginning of this episode that I was going to plan your social media strategy for you for a whole week. I really am, honestly, right? And I want you to try and follow it as much as possible, just to see if you notice any difference in your engagement, right? I mean, I'm not going to write your content for you. That's up to you. But I am going to lay out a plan for you, all right? So grab your pen and a piece of paper. Okay, so first of all, I want you to decide on 3 days that you're going to post. So let's say you go for a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday. All right, you've got your days. Second of all, I want you to allocate 1 video post and 2 written ones to these days. So, for example, you may do a written post on a Monday, you might do a reel on a Wednesday, and then another written post on Friday. And you can share any of these that you do to your stories as well. So that's that covered. You kind of hit that base as well. The third thing I want you to do for your posts, I want you to base them on something that happened to you that day or last week, recently. Yeah. And I want you to write either a happy, sad, or surprising post based on this experience. And I want you to tie it somehow into your work. Right, let's, for example, pretend that you nearly did chop your finger off and ended up in A&E last Friday night whilst you were cutting out fabric or something for your new product line. Right, I'm sure that your husband, your partner, your kid took a photo of you with your finger bandaged up, yeah? Or outside A&E, whatever. They always do get the camera out, don't they, in these moments? So use it. Use that as a post and tell the story of what happened. And at the end of the post, mention the said product that you were working on when it happened and add an image to the carousel of photos with a call to action caption like swipe to see the culprit, you know, whatever. And then you've got your product in there as well. But put yourself and your story first. You want to draw people in. You want to let them see your struggles and your dramas and your wins and your losses, your life, because that's what they want to see. Then for like your video or your reel, you could do a behind the scenes, but honestly, unless it's going to make me laugh or cry or jump out of my seat with excitement, honestly, I think they're a bit dull. So you could show people how maybe you make something and the process. That's always interesting and educational, and people will be compelled to watch that. Your aim with a video is to get that viewer staying on it for as long as possible for the platform to recognise that your stuff is holding people's interest and therefore showing it to more people. And once you've decided on your content and the days it's going out, I want you to post all 3 that week around the same time, each time. Okay, so maybe try just after tea time when we're all sort of flop out. We have a little scroll, don't we, on our phones to avoid the washing up or delay kids' bath time, whatever. But I want you to stick to that time. So either schedule the posts or you can maybe set your alarm on your phone and then post them. Okay. Now, when they've been posted, I want you to do 2 things. I want you to like your own post because Who says that you can't? Yeah, you can support yourself. Why not? And I want you to save it. And those things will indicate to Instagram that, oh, it's interesting. It's already got a like and a save. Try it, okay? Start the ball rolling. And then I want you to respond to all comments quickly, like within an hour max, if you can, okay? If you get any, hopefully you do. See who likes it and go and follow them if you're not already. One other thing that I want you to do as part of your social media strategy, because let's face it, if you're anything like I was, like you're just winging it most of the time, aren't you? It's hardly a strategy, but we're going to call it that, okay? I want you to follow 3 new accounts every week. Like, have a scroll. It usually says, and on Instagram, it says things like suggested for you because of your interests and your previous interactions. So you can find people this way. Or again, you can see who has liked your posts in the past and go and follow them. Make sure that you have something in common with that person or that company, that small business, either that you like their work, their posts make you laugh, they inspire you. You could even choose to follow a magazine or a blog that you want to be featured in. Like anything, everyone's got a social media account these days. So have a look what interests you, what resonates with you and connects. And then once you've followed these 3 new accounts, I want you to go and look at their feed or their story and comment on something that grabs your attention and you like. And I want you to comment something meaningful, like, I love this, thanks for sharing it, it's really helped me. Or, oh my gosh, your work is beautiful. Simple as that. Just acknowledge it because most likely they're going to respond and they're probably going to follow you back too. And because you've recently interacted, and this is the most important thing, the next time you post, you're going to show up in their feed so they see you. And that's how you get in front of your audience and ultimately grow it. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. I am proof of that. Like my Instagram following is small. Okay, I think I only have around 370 people or so. Said I wasn't focusing on numbers. I know exactly how many followers I've got. But no, the fact is that I know 90% of those people, at least, are my tribe. People who genuinely want to know about what I'm up to, they're interested in my things and care about me. Now that's the Her Handmade Hustle account. Vintage Trees account has been there longer, but again, it's not got a massive following. Maybe, I think it's got over 1,000. It's not huge, but those people on there are all customers or interested in what I do, interact with them, their colleagues. They are my community. And these people are worth their weight in gold. And I cherish every single one of them. So, I'm not looking for quantity, I want quality. And that's what you need to have in your mind as well. Remember, you've got to put in the effort in the right ways and just stop expecting social media to do all the work for you, right? It is a tool and it's a useful one, but it's not going to fix a weak marketing strategy. You've got to do that yourself. Now, after you've listened to this episode, make some time to give yourself a social media audit. I know that sounds like really, really dull, but honestly, just go and look at your feed and see if you're posting consistently, see if your content is engaging, or are you getting comments, likes, etc. And number 3, are you actively engaging with your followers or are you ghosting them? Really important to have a look at those things and see it in black and white before you can plan your next move. Okay, so let's summarize and recap on the main things and take away from today's episode. Remember, as much as we love to hate the algorithm, it's not the enemy. It's your content and consistency that needs work. Focus on storytelling for your posts. Make it personal, draw people in and make them laugh. Make them cry, whatever, be provoked in some way. Interact with them, show up regularly, and then go out and seek the people who you admire or you've got something in common with. Because you never know who you might meet and what doors will open. So no more excuses, okay? I'm doing the same, and 2025 is going to be a different mindset for me for social media. Like, I no longer want to feel like it's running my life, because it does, doesn't it? Sometimes I get up and I dread it every day, thinking, oh God, what am I going to post today? But actually, when I post my personal stories and content, I find that so much more enjoyable. And I think that's what it should be about. And I think people pick up on that vibe as well. I want to share what I can, when I can, and make it count. So, if you want to message me or email me with any of your social media struggles, I'd be happy to help. I would love to hear from you. It beats the daily emails from school that I keep getting every minute, honestly, asking me to either pay Eden's school milk bill for the millionth time or to confirm she's taking part in this bloody Santa Dash and has got sponsors. Oh shit, just reminded myself I need to get her something relatively festive that she can do laps of the playground in. Tell you now, Santa Dash isn't going to happen. What a waste of time. Anyway, if you're looking to start the new year off in style, I am offering to give your social media profiles a makeover. I will do that for you. I'm a designer by trade. I thought I might as well put it to use. So I'm doing a banner and bio bundle where I create you a beautiful banner to span the top of your Facebook page, your Etsy shop. Plus, I'm going to write you a bio that will be sure to capture exactly what it is what you do, using the right keywords to grab your audience's attention and be seen, because it's the first place people land when they look you up is your homepage on social media. It's got to be right. It's got to look good. It's like your shop front. So if that doesn't look good, they're going to leave. They ain't even going to walk through the door to see what you've got to offer. So I thought I would put this package together. It's £49.99 and you can purchase it on my website. I'll put a link in the show notes. Like I said, I'm a designer by trade, so it's important for me to sort of include those skills as well with what I can offer other small businesses. And I've put them into an affordable little package for you. So it's there if you want it. Thank you as always for listening. If you want to gain a new follower to your social media account, that's me, please do comment on this episode and let me know. And if you can share this episode with one other friend or colleague who is also struggling with social media and is stuck blaming the algorithm, I will love you forever. And so will they. Okay. So thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.